Hello, this is Ravi Shankar. Welcome to Botany Tutorial NEET online classes. Today I am going to talk about andrecium. Andrecium is male reproductive organ of a flower. Andrecium is male reproductive organ of a flower. Andrecium is a male reproductive organ of a flower. This andrecium is composed with stamens. Andrecium is composed with stamens. Stamens are stamens. Men represent male, right? That's why it is. They are male structures in a flower. Stamens are otherwise called microsporophylls. Stamens are otherwise called microsporophylls. Each stamen has mainly two parts are present. Each stamen has mainly two structures are present. Right. One is filament. The other one will be anther. Filament and anther. See, look at the structure. This is the stamen. This is filament. This is anther. Filament is slender like structure which helps for attachment. To floral organs or floral appendages of a flower. Right. See, in filament also where there we can see two ends. The end by which it will be attached to the floral organs of a flower will be called proximal end. The end which is the end towards the anther will be called as a distal end. So, in filament there are two ends are present. The end by which it will be attached to the floral organs of a flower will be called a proximal end. The end where the anther is present is called distal end. So, there are two ends are present in a filament. That is about filament. Filament is a slender-like structure which helps for attachment to the floral organs of a flower. And anther, the tip of the distal end of filament, there is a fertile part is present. Usually, filament is a non-fertile part. It is non-fertile part. But anther is a fertile part. Anther is having two lobes are present. In majority of flowering plants, anther has two lobes are present. That's why it is called bilobed anther. Or otherwise it is called as dithecous anther. Otherwise it is called as dithecous anther. See, look at here. This is the anther. There are two lobes are present. 1 and 2 are present. Right. The two are connected by a sterile parenchymatous structure which is present between the two lobes of anther is called a connective is called connective, right? The each lobe internally divided into two chambers. So those chambers are called microsporangia. Those chambers are called microsporangia. That's why actually two lobes are dithecous, and in each lobe there are two chambers are present. So based on this, the number of chambers and two lobes, these anther usually described as dithecous tetrasporangiate anther. Dithecous tetrasporangiate anther. This is in majority of members, the anther is dithecous. Di two, theca. Di means two, theca means sacs or lobes. That is the meaning of this one. Suppose in some of the members, like Malvaceae members, there we can see in some of the members, like Malvaceae members, there we can see monothecous anther is present. That means single lobed anther is present. That's why this anther will be called monothecous anther. So this monothecous anther is present in Malvaceae family. Example, the best example is Hibiscus cinereus. In these members, we can see single lobed anther, otherwise called monothecous anther. This, though it is a monothecous anther, usually internally there are septa is present. Because of the septa, each theca means each lobe is divided into two chambers. Those are called microsporangia. That's why this can be described as there are two chambers are present. That's why it is described as a monothecous bisporangiate anther. In majority members, dithecous tetrasporangiate anther. In the Malvaceae members, monothecous bisporangiate anther will be seen. Each sporangia will be considered as a pollen sacs, where pollen grains are developed. Each sac is considered as a pollen chamber or pollen sacs, where pollen grains are produced. That structure will be called a pollen chamber. Microsporangia is otherwise called a pollen chamber because pollen grains are produced. So, and in some members like Wolffia, the smallest angiosperm, Wolffia, and obligate parasitic plant which is called Arcithobium. This is the obligate parasite. Obligate parasite means this parasite require compulsory host for their survival, otherwise it cannot be survived. Such a host will be called obligate host. Facultative host means the host can be survived with the presence of host or absence of host. That parasite can be survived with the presence or absence of host. That parasite will be called a facultative parasite. And this is obligate parasite. Arcithobium is obligate parasite on redwood plants, sandal plants. Now, in these two plants, there is an anther is present. The anther as monothecous anther is present. For each monothecous, single microsporangia will be present. That is a different case. But in majority, we can see a dithecous tetrasporangiate and monothecous bisporangiate. So, This is regarding the anther and its description like this. And suppose anther, as I told you that anther is a fertile structure, right? But in some stamens, anther is an infertile structure. Such stamens are called staminodes. Staminode. Such structures are called staminode stamens. Staminode stamens. Staminode stamens means the anther is infertile. It is not a fertile structure. That is about a anther. That is about a anther. Now, next we'll talk about the regarding the length of or position of this stamens within the corolla or outside the corolla. There we can describe into two types of flower or two types of stamens based on their length. Now let us look at that. Let us look at that structures, how they will be. What are the terms are given for those structures? Suppose there are two terms can be used. One will be inserted stamens, the other one will be exserted stamens. The one will be regarding the length, right? One will be called inserted stamens. Inserted stamens. The other one will be exserted stamens. Exserted stamens. Stamens. That means what? Inserted stamens. Suppose this is the corolla. This is the corolla of a flower. The stamens are within the corolla. The length of the stamens will be within the corolla. Such stamens are called inserted stamens. Such stamens are called inserted stamens. These are within. These are inserted stamens. Inserted stamens. If the stamens are being beyond the corolla, if the stamens length will be beyond the corolla, such stamens are called exserted stamens. Look at this. This is the corolla. The stamens are coming out of or beyond the size of a corolla. That means they will be exposed outside, out of the corolla. Such stamens are called exserted stamens. Based on the length, we have two types: inserted stamens, inserted stamens and exserted stamens. Right. Now let us discuss based on attachment of filament to anther. Based on attachment of filament to anther. The next one is attachment of filament to anther. Based on the attachment from which side or which surface of the anther the filament will be attached, the distal end of filament will be attached. Based on that, we can describe the stamens into different categories. The first one will be, this is the first one. This is called base-fixed. This is called base-fixed, or otherwise called fixation of a filament to anther. We can call it as base-fixed stamens. Base-fixed stamens. Example, datura. Example, to remember this type and example, we can keep a code like this: BD AN DH VG, like this. BD base-fixed datura, AD adnate and nerium. See, the second one will be, second one is adnate anther. Adnate anther. Example, nerium. Example, nerium. Next one is dorsifixed stamen or anther, dorsifixed anther, that is seen in hibiscus. Next one is versatile anther. That is seen in grasses. Right? So these are the different kinds with their examples. Now basic fixed. Suppose this is the Dithecus anther. The filament is attached to the basal surface of the anther, like this. Basal surface of the anther. This is called basi-fixed anther. Example, Datura. Next, adnate anther. Adnate means directly the filament is attached to connective of anther. Here is a connective is present. The filament is directly attached to connective part of anther. Now this is called adnate anther. Example, Nerium. The next one is dorsifixed. So this is the filament, anther. This is the anther. Now the filament is attached behind or back of the anther, means the dorsal side of the anther. So the filament is attached to the dorsal surface of the anther. That's why it is called dorsifixed anther, that is seen in hibiscus. Next one is versatile. Versatile means there is a elongated anther lobes are present. In the center of connective, directly to the center of connective, the filament is attached. To the center of the connective of anther lobes, the filament is attached. The anther lobes are elongated and they will be swinging in the air. Especially we can see in grasses. So there is a pollination usually occur in grasses, that is called wind pollination, because of elongated anthers, and these elongated anthers will be swinging in the air and disperse pollen grains after their maturity, and so that the pollination will be occur through wind. That's why that is called wind pollination. So based on the fixation of filament to anther, we have 4 categories: basi-fixed, adnate, dorsifixed, versatile, with their example and the position where the filament is attached to the anther also described here it is. Right? Understood? Next topic is the union of stamens with other floral organs or same floral organs. That is called a union of stamens. Next one is union of stamens. Based on this union means the stamens are attached to the same floral organs or other floral organs of a flower. That is called union of stamens. Right. Based on this union, there we can see 2 categories of union of stamens. The one will be this is called adhesive stamens. The other one will be cohesive stamens. Adhesive stamens and cohesive stamens. Adhesive stamens, that means these stamens are attached to other floral organs, not same. Adhesion. Adhesion means attachment to others, union with others. That's why it is called adhesive stamens. Suppose if the stamens are attached themselves, same, all the stamens will be united together as a single structure, will be called as a cohesion, same, attachment to same, right? So based on this, we can describe the first one, which is called adhesive. Adhesive. See, based on this adhesion of stamens, we can have different types again. What are the different types of adhesion? Let us look at here. See, one is if the stamens are attached to petals, means corolla. Corolla is composed with the petals, right? If the stamens are attached to petals, will be called as epipetalous stamens. Epipetalous stamens. See, example for epipetalous stamens, DSP. Example, DSP. DSP means Datura, Solanum and Petunia, or the example for epipetalous stamens. The next one, second one will be episepalous. Episepalous stamens. Example for this one is Grevillea. Example for episepalous. That means I'll tell you. Then next one is Epiphyllous. Epiphyllous stamens. Example, Lily asparagus. Next one is Gynostegium stamens. Gynostegium stamens. Example, Calotropis. So these are the different categories of adhesion of stamens. Epipetalous, that means this is the flower, this is the corolla of a flower, gynoecium, right? The stamens are attached to directly corolla. That condition of attachment of stamens will be called epipetalous. Epi means attachment to petals. That's why it is called epipetalous stamens. It is seen in DSP, Datura, Solanum and Petunia. That is about episepalous. Now you can understand. Epi means attachment. Sepals means sepals. That means they will be attached to sepals. These stamens are attached to sepals like this. Will be called episepalous, seen in Grevillea. Epiphyllous. See, monocot members, there is a calyx and corolla will be united together and form perianth lobes, right? So that means the stamens are attached to perianth members. Perianth means here both the calyx and corolla will be united together and form a single accessory structure which is called perianth. To the perianth, these members will be attached. These stamens will be attached. That's why it is called epiphyllous. That is seen in Liliaceae, monocot member, asparagus. So these are the example for this category. The next one is gynostegium. Gynostegium means these stamens are attached to gynoecium. Gynoecium is the fourth whorl of a flower, right? So this is the flower. So these stamens are attached to gynoecium. The stamens are attached to gynoecium like this. So such stamens are called gynoecium stamens, that is seen in Calotropis. Calotropis are an example. So this is about the addition of stamens. Addition of stamens. Now let us discuss the next union of stamens, that is cohesion. Cohesion. Understanding? Right. Next one is cohesion. Cohesion means attachment of stamens to their own members. To their own members will be called cohesion. Will be called a cohesion. See, cohesion of stamens. Cohesion of stamens. They will be attached themselves, right? That is called a cohesion. Based on this, we can have different categories again. One is called, if all the, how many number of stamens are present in that flower will be attached to all together and form a single staminal tube. Those are called monodelphous stamens. Those are called monodelphous stamens. Example, hibiscus, monodelphous, Malvaceae members. The next one is diadelphous stamens. Diadelphous stamens. Example, bean pea, Fabaceae family. Next one is polydelphous. Polydelphous stamens. Polydelphous stamens. That means what? That will be seen in citrus. So these are the different categories under the cohesion of stamens. Monodelphous, diadelphous, polydelphous. Monodelphous means, suppose this is all the filaments of stamens are unite together and form single staminal tube. So this is the filament. So all the filaments are unite together and form a single staminal tube. So this attachment of all the stamens together and form a single staminal tube But here the filaments are get separated, but all the the anthers are get separated, but all the filaments are unite together and form a single staminal tube. That is seen in, that's why it is called monodelphous stamens. Mono means single, united filaments and form a anther. That is monodelphous stamens. The next one is diadelphous. Diadelphous means here it is single bundle, right? Single bundle of stamens are seen in this Malvaceae, but here two bundles will be seen. Usually in this bean or pea members, there is 10 stamens are present. How many stamens? 10 stamens are present. All these stamens will be formed into two bundles, 9 plus 1, like that. They will be formed as a bundle. See, one of the bundle will be composed with 9. This is the one single staminal bundle. Here all of them are 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is the one bundle. The remaining, the another one, odd one, will be the another one. So this is the kind of attach or union of stamens, and they will be formed as a 9 plus 1. 9 plus 1 means two bundles will be formed. That's why it is called diadelphous stamens. Diadelphous stamens. But in a third case, there are more than two bundles are formed in that. See, there are many stamens. They will be formed. More than two staminal tubes are formed. More than two staminal tubes are formed. Like this. That flower will be called as that stamens. That cohesion of stamens are called polydelphous. Polydelphous stamens. Polydelphous stamens. So that is in citrus members. This is about the cohesion of stamens. Cohesion of stamens. Suppose one more important thing we need to discuss here. If all the stamens are free, they are not united together and they will be freely present, will be called polyandrous. Polyandrous stamens. Polyandrous stamens means these stamens are free. They are not united with anybody, any other organs. They will be free. Will be called polyandrous. Suppose if the stamens are united with any other organ, will be called synandrous. Synandrous. Synandrous stamens. Like this, based on that, we can have got two terms: synandrous stamens, polyandrous stamens, and synandrous stamens. Means these are united. Synandrous means united stamens. These are not united; they are free. Therefore, they are called polyandrous stamens. This is regarding the union of cohesion of stamens, right? This is about that. Understood? Then next, when you're talking about based on the position of stamens, based on there are in a flower, usually the length of stamens will be same in majority plants. Usually the length of stamens will be same in majority members. In some cases, the length of stamens shows variations in the length of filament. That means the stamens shows variation in length of stamens, in length of filament. Because of that, the form of the stamens will be shows in different way. The form of stamens will be shows different way.